Welcome back, loves. Let's call this episode a quick bite because it's going to be way shorter than the usual episodes that I release. I just wanted to give you a little quick tidbit to help you get through the week. Today, we're going to be talking about diffusion, which is an acceptance and commitment therapy technique. Now, if you were to look this up online, you would see someone put their hand in their face. And due to my filter, you might not see my hand that well, but they would put their hand in their face and they would say that your hand represents all of the negative thoughts that are cycling throughout your brain. And maybe there is a specific thought that you're dealing with and it's just in your face. When you diffuse, you push that thought back. First, I'm going to tell you why we need to do this though. Okay, I have OCD. So if I am stressed, I can obsessively think about the things that stress me out. When I am not experiencing high stress, however, I do so much better with that. I don't even have to practice diffusion. It's just a good idea to practice it in general, though, to make sure that you are rewiring your brain in that way to think about problems in a way that diffuses them. So you may be going through some trying times in life and your thoughts may be spiraling, circling around. You may be going in and out of negative thinking cycles, and you need something to stop that. And it's not enough to just logically say, I know I need to stop. Or intellectually, it's not a good idea. It always ends badly, or it always causes you to think about more and more negative things. And then you can't finish the rest of your day with any type of ease. So, the practice of diffusion will really help you because what you're doing is you're observing the thought and you're not engaging with it in the way that you normally would. Okay. So, I'm going to give you an example. Again, this is going to be very short. You'll be able to just replay this over and over until you get it, until it gets stuck in your brain as a new habit you want to need to adopt, if I can argue that. Okay. So again, let's take that hand and you can even do this with me. Now, if you're driving and you're listening to this episode, please do not put your hand up in front of your face. We need your eyes on the road. Your hand is in your face. Your hand represents one of the most extreme thoughts that you have. Maybe it's the fear of never finding a partner that you love and that loves you back so fiercely the way you deserve. Maybe it's a fear of not passing an exam. Maybe it's a fear of not being able to expand your family. Maybe it's a fear of losing your job. Whatever it is, have your hand represent what that fear is. Now, typically it's so close to your face you cannot see around it. If you can see me, you can only see the problem. When you practice diffusion, you want to push that hand back and observe that thought more. Okay, so I might ask myself if I'm trying to diffuse from a thought, where is this thought coming from? Is this a fear-based thought? Did this thought come from me or did someone else say something that suggested to my brain that it's something I need to focus on today? Will this thought help me? You'll notice I'm asking myself a lot of open ended, not closed questions, right? We don't want those yes or no's. I need you to expand your mind and the landscape in your mind around this thought, okay? Would this thought be helpful for me? How can I benefit from continuing to think this thought in this way? Who doesn't benefit from it? Right? Maybe you have family members, friends who are not going to benefit. Maybe you have kids. If I get stuck in negative thought cycles, well, then my kids are talking to me after school and I'm not latching on to anything they are saying. And I'm just going to raise my hand because I'm that mom that's going to be honest with you. I strive to be the best parent I can. And there are some times where my kids are talking and I'm not hearing it. Even though I'm physically there, realistically, I should be hearing it. It's not happening because I have thoughts that I have not diffused from. Okay. So you're going to ask yourself a whole bunch of open-ended questions. I say whole bunch, but however many you need to ask yourself to push that hand farther away so that you can start to see the thought. Okay. You can do some more things to expand that thought. Does it benefit me to think about this right now? Or is this something I could think about later? Like if I actually added this to my calendar for 7 p.m. tonight, after I get my kids to bed or whatever, is that something I could think about later? How might it benefit me to put it there in my schedule versus give it some attention now? It's not going anywhere. The issue isn't going anywhere. I'm not going to solve it overnight. So what would be the point of me allowing it to ruin my present reality? Now you've pushed that hand out even further. You might also ask yourself, well, what are some alternatives to this thought? So let's just say the thought is, will I ever find a partner that gives in the way that I give, that loves in the way that I give, that I can have a fulfilling relationship with? You might, challenge that thought and say, well, my friend is also in my age range and that person is now booed up. Okay. Or, you know what? There are plenty of dating services. Maybe I could hire a matchmaker. Maybe I could start budgeting for that so that at the top of 2026, I could do that. Maybe I try online dating again. Maybe I focus on a hobby. instead of dating right now because the hobby could lead me to finding someone to date. You get where I'm going with this? Each question you ask yourself, each time you observe the thought and stop joining and fusing to it, you're creating more psychological flexibility. You're expanding your brain to think around the thought and not to get just so detached to it that it dysregulates you. That's the whole goal. I don't want you dysregulated. So, the act of diffusion is an acceptance and commitment therapy technique, ACT for short, ACT, however you want to say it. And it is very useful. And I teach it to my clients and I practice it myself, as you can tell. I just didn't give you any of my real life examples, but hopefully you can tell that anything I share on this podcast, I'm sharing it because it's been helpful to me. And I truly believe it will also be helpful for you. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. Please let me know if you're going to try the act of diffusion. Please let me know how it goes in the comments section. And as always, I hope you consider therapy. Let me know that. Let me know if you are thinking through whether or not you should reach out to a therapist. I do have a directory, findmytherapist.us. You can find a therapist close to you, someone you can connect with and get support with your mental health. And of course, as always, thank you for tuning in to the Anxiety and Free podcast.